Hello there, everybody, and welcome to our first Sunday Start Sit. I am your host, Keith Cork, and I am joined here by Mike LaFamina. Pronounced it right again there, Mike. So there you go. That's two times
You're
in a
on a
row.
roll.
I'm
You're
on
on
a
a
roll
roll.
here. We were going to have Mike Kulz on here, but unfortunately he was sick. So Mike L is going to sub in here. And yeah, if you guys have a question here, we just want to ask that you guys, give us your league settings. I'm going to go ahead and just pop this on the screen. Give us your league settings, give us your league size. If it's a 10, 12, 14, 16 team league, that obviously will affect some stuff here as well as, as a PPR, half PPR, that kind of thing. So if it's salary, if it's auction, whatever it is, let us know that specific stuff because that will help us. Well, no questions just yet, but as you guys do have questions, pop them in here. But let's talk about some of the big news. Obviously, kind of the headliner here is Mark Andrews being out. We were talking about that a little bit before we came on here, but Isaiah Likely, talk to me about him. I mean, where does he wind up here in the tight ends? Is he a top 5, top 6? What do you think?
I have him in the top 5. We saw that last year when Andrews was out, Likely just stepped right in and filled his shoes pretty admirably. He's a freak of an athlete, has the ability to earn quite a bit of targets. Now, this year is a little different, right? Because the Ravens have Odell Beckham, Rashad Bateman healthy, Zay Flowers to contend with, where last year there wasn't hardly anything.
Yeah.
So, but I still think, it's a smash spot against Houston. Um, they tend to give up a pretty good chunk to the tight end. So I'm still confident in Likely having a pretty big game today.
Yeah, I think anywhere that I have Mark Andrews, I snagged Isaiah
Mm-hmm.
Likely, and
For
I'm definitely
sure.
playing him. He was there was even like Luke Musgrave out there on the wire, which I know we
Mm-hmm.
can talk about here in a minute. I think I'm pretty high on him this week as well. But yeah, I do think Likely's the guy that's likely to go off here out of anybody that's kind of sitting on your wire. And he's probably already snagged up at this point, but if he's not, I would give him a hard look if you're in need of a tight end. So let's talk about Green Bay, though. Obviously, no Christian Watson. Romeo Dobbs probably going to be limited in what he does on the field. So, what are we leaning towards there? What's our angles there? I mean, is Musgrave going to step into a bigger role, or you going Jaden Reed? Who's the guy to target there in a deeper league?
In a deeper league, I'm good starting actually both of them, but Jaden Reed, especially in PPR formats, he's more of their possession guy out of the slot. We'll see how much work Dobbs gets. They say limited. What limited actually means, who knows? um, I do think it's going to be a pretty slow game, so I'm not like overly enthused to be throwing them into my lineups. But in
Yeah.
a deep league, or if you're in a pinch and got hurt with Andrews news and Musgrave was your backup, or if you're lacking at the wide receiver position, he's a fine option. Reed.
Yeah. We did get news also. Darren Waller is going to be in. He has a hamstring injury, so that's good for Darren Waller and the Giants,
Shocking.
obviously. So yeah, it's a little shocking. Obviously he's had some injury history there. So, but I mean, outside of Waller, let's talk about that wide receiver room in the Giants. I mean, is there anybody you can trust there? I mean, definitely not in standard leagues, I don't think, but maybe in
No.
a deeper league setting like a 16 teamer.
My initial lean would be Slayton, just because he's been there and done that. But it's just between Campbell and Hyatt, it's just a lot to sort out. I'm kind of in wait and see mode with that. Waller's really the only one I really trust at the moment.
All right, Dale. Dale has a question for us: Brees Hall or Gabe Davis? Dale, we're not sure what your league settings are there, but I guess in a vacuum there, Mike, what's your lean there? Obviously, with Brees Hall, we got the news this morning that Dalvin Cook going to be involved heavily early. So, we leading Gabe Davis there?
I am.
Yeah.
Just there's more big play potential. I think you know uh, Stefon Diggs is going to be the primary focus, obviously, of the defensive backfield for the Jets, so that could lead to some extra targets for Gabe Davis. We're still unsure what exactly this workload split is going to be between Brees Hall and Dalvin Cook. So, depending on what the rest of your lineup looks like, if you need some safety, I'd lean Gabe Davis. Also, something to consider is if that's your last decision and you're losing going into Monday night and you need something high upside and you want to take a chance on Brees Hall, go for it. But if it's close or you're in the lead, I'd stick with Gabe Davis.
Yeah, it's Gabe Davis for me for sure. And Dale did clarify that is PPR, so thank you, Dale. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Remember we are asking you guys just to clarify your settings, but either way, I think either half PPR or PPR, I would probably lean Gabe Davis there. So absolutely. Let's see. We did have some questions this morning in our Discord, and I think I actually answered one, but I'm curious to get your thoughts here. PPR, got to pick one of these guys: Michael Pittman, Dalvin Cook, Marvin Mims, or Nico Collins. Who are you picking there?
It's Pittman for me, just because I think he's going to be the target hog of the offense. Now, what that passing offense looks like today is a big mystery. There's a potential that it's just a lot of run game and they really slow it down. Pittman did catch nearly 100 balls last year, so he has the ability to earn targets, and he's the clear-cut number one in this offense. Mims would be the other consideration. Just we got that news that Judy is out today, so it's going to be a clear, funnel between him, Mims and Sutton. But Pittman has more upside to me today. So
yeah, and that was my answer there in the Discord. So I'm glad you agree with me there. But yeah, Pittman was my answer there. I love Pittman this season. I think being early in the season with a rookie QB, we're going to have him maybe hyper targeted because he's going to be, Anthony Richardson's going to just really lean into weapons that he trusts as he tries to not make turnovers. So I do think Pittman's a really solid target there. And I like him there in that scenario. So just trying to see if there's any late breaking news here. If you guys don't already, go follow at Ethos Fantasy FB. At Ethos Fantasy FB, we have a news feed there that we are pumping out, news left to right about all these teams and what's going on here. Don't see anything new that's popped up just yet, but we should get some news here rolling out momentarily. Go ahead.
There was some chatter this week about Kenneth Walker's hamstring. He did miss some time in the preseason with that. He's not even on the injury report. So I feel completely confident rolling him out in my lineups without any hesitation. I don't think this Rams defense is very good at all. There is some blowout potential here. So I'm okay with Walker getting the nod in my lineups for sure.
Absolutely. I don't disagree there. We did also have another question this morning. I'm trying to find that. There it is. It's in this one here. And I think we already had an answer here for it, but just to kind of reiterate for people that might be out there having a similar situation. But it was between Jordan Addison or Jaden Reed. We talked a little bit about Dobbs being, limited and Jaden Reed being an option in deeper leagues, but we think Addison's going to have a good game, right? So Addison would be our pretty heavy lean there, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
It's just a better game environment in the Dome in Minnesota in a pretty pass-happy offense. We just don't know what Green Bay's plan of attack is going to be. I suspect it's going to be pretty slower paced, a lot of rushing. I just don't know if there's going to be enough targets for Reed to really hit a high upside like Addison could. So Addison for me.
We just had Zach Moss actually ruled inactive for the game, so that's some interesting news that just developed there. Deion Jackson versus a guy like maybe a Raheem Mostert, a Jamal Williams. I mean, I think you put those other guys above Deion Jackson, right?
Easily, yeah.
Where does he slot in for you? I mean, like what kind of a size league? What kind of RBs would he be ahead of?
Not a lot, to be honest. I don't know what that offensive environment's pretty gross. Like I said, Pittman, I'm okay with. There's going to be mixing in rookie Evan Hull too. If it's like a 14-team PPR league and you need something, sure. You could do worse, but I'm not super high on Jackson today.
All right, Kendre Miller has been ruled inactive as well.
Mhm.
We were kind of expecting that. So Jamal Williams, we did mention him a little bit earlier,
It's
but
gonna be. It's,
pretty high on him this week. I think he's going to have a good week. So where do we project him finishing out? Is he a guy? Are there any starting running backs that someone might like, maybe a Kenneth Walker or something, where someone might have drafted them that they might actually choose to start Jamal Williams over them?
that's pretty close. I'd still lean Walker
Mm,
over um, over Williams, but I'd have him ahead of like Rashad White or Miles Sanders, even Damian Pierce today, just because of that blowout potential that we have with Baltimore, Houston. I'm starting him over both the Denver guys. So somewhere in that, you know, Cam Akers, J.K. Dobbins range, but I'd have Walker ahead of him for sure.
okay. So still going with our guys that we trust before we're going with Jamal Williams there. Let's talk a little bit about DFS. I mean, I know you put out your DFS delivery, so I thank you for that. If you guys don't
Mhm.
have the DFS pass with Sports Ethos, go ahead and grab it. It is just $5 a month still, which is stupid cheap. But let's talk about some guys. You talked about Dobbins there. That's a guy that a lot of people are going to be targeting. I mean, is he more of a cash
Mm.
play, more of a tournament play? What do you feeling there?
He's more of a tournament play for me. I think he's good leverage in
Mhm.
tournaments for people who we expect a lot of people to attack. Lamar Jackson and Zay Flowers and Isaiah Likely, expecting him to throw the ball all over the yard with Todd Monken coming in on offense. So um, I did see, I forget who it was on Twitter, but that they may be easing him into the week
Mhm.
one. So definitely a little too risky for me for cash. I much prefer Jamal Williams, Joe Mixon, Aaron Jones, Mozart. Mozart's a smash cash play for me, especially with A-Chain being out. So
Mhm.
um, yeah, I in terms of cash, Isaiah Likely moves up,
Yeah.
to my number one cash play. He's priced at 3,000 on DraftKings. When I did the write up, it was Higby, and he's priced at 48, which is a little more than I thought he would come in at. Because I do expect him with Cup out to be the target leader,
Mhm.
um, but Likely's just too much of in a better position there and at a cheaper price tag. So
Yeah. Absolutely. Adam Thielen ruled in. I mean, Carolina not super interesting in terms of their wide receiver room. Bryce Young there. I mean, are any of these guys kind of worth a dart throw if you're like in a large field GPP? I think Thielen. I mean, he could get targeted a lot. He could be the top target earner there. So is he a guy you're looking at? Maybe.
I'd lean more Mingo.
Mingo.
Honestly, I
Mm.
just think you know what you're gonna get with Adam Thielen. It's gonna be 5 catches for 50 yards and
That's
maybe a
possible.
touchdown. Yeah, but I think Mims has the higher ceiling. So in tournaments where you're trying to get the highest ceiling possible on, leaning Mingo. Hurst, I had some interest in, um, especially with Chark being ruled out, but just other opportunities at tight end, like we mentioned before, with Likely and Musgrave have come up. So
Yeah.
he's not so much a priority for me anymore.
Yeah. Try to see if there's anything else, but if you guys do have any questions, just hit us. Again, just let us know. Let's talk a little bit about Jalen Warren here. And
Mm-hmm.
please do like and subscribe. Obviously, subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and like this video. Jalen Warren supposed to get more carries on first and second down than normal in week one. So obviously that eats a little bit of Najee Harris there. What are we feeling in there in Pittsburgh, and how do we play that situation? Are we fading Najee now?
I'm not really a big Najee guy to begin with, so
Mhm.
this only strengthens that position for me. But I just it's a mess from what it sounds like right now.
Yeah.
Warren clearly outclassed him in the preseason, but then again, that's preseason. Najee did see a dip in efficiency last year. He just doesn't have the explosive upside. I don't think he had one carry over 20 yards last season. So it's just, there's not a lot of big play potential there. He's just his rookie year, he did on volume because he literally got almost every carry. And he was a little more involved in the pass game than initially is expected, with Ben Roethlisberger having a noodle for an arm, not being able to throw it down the field and just having the check down all the time. I do expect Pickett to be a little more aggressive. He's got better passing weapons than Roethlisberger had that year. He's got Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, Freiermuth. So, you're still starting Najee if you drafted him. I don't think this is a reason to panic and get off him, especially if he's your RB2. But it's definitely something we need to be monitoring.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, especially also going against 49ers defense, it's not something I'm rushing to throw Jaylen Warren into my lineup this week, just because of this news. So I'd be more excited if I heard he was going to be getting more of the third down work, and I was in a PPR league. But first and second down carries, unless that's in the red zone, those aren't super, super valuable carries in fantasy. So we'll see.
Another kind of absolutely. Another kind of ugly situation here, but Hollywood Brown for the Cardinals obviously been ruled in, expected to play here for week 1. That's according to Rappaport. And, obviously Josh Dobbs there behind center is what we're expecting. We're not sure. It could be Clayton Tune still. We have a little bit of competitive advantage there, but probably Josh Dobbs. And is there anything you like in that, I guess, in that game in general? I mean, Sam Howell on the other end, obviously the Commanders have a pretty tough, stout defense there. So anything you're looking at here for deeper league people?
Brown's startable, I think. As a wide receiver 3 flex kind of play. He's going to be the main target earner. Now, what that means exactly is to be determined. Easy for me to say. But Brown's definitely someone I'm willing to play. Rondell Moore is somebody I'm concerned about. We've been seeing Wilson, the rookie, playing ahead of him in preseason in 2 wide receiver sets, and even reports that Greg Dortch has been playing well out of the slot. So that kind of squeezes Rondell Moore out of the equation.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, I start your Commanders this week that you were planning on starting. McLaurin in, I have no problem starting him. Dotson is obviously a high upside play, and then both the running backs are more than fine.
Let's swap to DFS kind of hats here and talk a little bit about that, because you mentioned the Commanders defense, and I think they're going to be easily the most heavily owned defense in all of DFS.
Not even close.
Cash Gabe, you go with it. I think you just lock it in. Take 80% of the field's probably going to have it, but that's okay. But I think interesting GPP pivot, especially on DraftKings for me. And I hate to say it, but the Packers against my Bears, they're the same exact price as the Commanders, and I really do feel like Justin Fields is going to be in a situation where he's going to be forcing himself to throw the ball, maybe even forcing it into DJ Moore. So there's some real turnover potential there, I feel like. And let's be honest, I mean, I love my Bears, but there's not a proven offense just yet. So I think it's a nice pivot there from the rest of the field for the Packers. Are there anybody else that you like here there on the DraftKings or even FanDuel, if you looked at that slate, that you like at the defense situation?
If you need the savings, I'm definitely okay going down to the Raiders. I know Chandler Jones isn't playing, but we got a super unreliable Russell Wilson going at it. And then we don't know what Javonte Williams is going to be looking like. So there's definitely some turnover potential there, in a game I don't expect to be a big shootout also. So Raiders at 2,300.
Perfect.
Is good.
Yeah, I like it. All right, Nathan has a question for us here. Full PPR, 2 from Zay Flowers, Jordan Addison, and JSN and Van Jefferson. So 2 of those guys. Who are you leaning there?
The first two, Zay Flowers and Addison for me. JSN
Yeah,
is intriguing. I like JSN. I have a good amount of JSN on my redraft leagues. Just a little worried about coming back from that wrist surgery injury. He's not even on the injury report, so obviously he's good to go. But I think with Andrews being out, this a big opportunity for Flowers
yeah,
to show out, and Addison, I just really like that game environment. Van Jefferson should be. Yeah, he's the wide receiver one, but
yeah,
I still think Higbee's going to out target
yeah.
him, and I'm
Right.
just very concerned about the Rams right now.
Yeah, I agree. And I think I might go Zay Flowers, Van Jefferson, but I think, if you go Addison, I don't think that's out of the question at all. But yeah, I agree on JSN. Absolutely. I think, even if we assume that he's 80% healthy, whatever it is, you still got Lockett there. You still got Metcalf there. I mean, I'm not seeing this huge upside, at least not week one, but, could burn me. I mean, he is absolutely a very skilled receiver. So let's talk here. My brother here, Mr. Brandon Cork, asking full PPR league. He's got George Kittle, but he's a little concerned about his injury, which, obviously a lot of people probably are. So would you go Kittle or Jawan Johnson? What's your lean there?
I'm still Kittle.
Yeah.
Juwan Johnson definitely has touchdown upside, but he also has a greater chance of scoring you 0 this week. I don't think he will, but I'm Kittle there still.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think Kittle's, you got to go with that upside there. Probably going to be a top 5-6 tight end. Obviously there's that injury, uh, concern there. I mean, could re-injure himself in the game, but I mean, we just don't play that way. You got to play as if they're going to, if they're going to suit up, they're going to play the whole game, and you're just hoping that's the case
Yes,
here. So,
for
um,
sure.
so yeah, I'm going to go Kittle there as well. So good luck there, Mr. Brandon. Anyone else have any question there? Just go ahead and hit us in the chat there. Let us know what your league settings are, what your size of your league is. It would be very helpful here. I'm just refreshing here to see if we have any late breaking news here. I don't think, let me see here, hit refresh here real quick and see if there's anything exciting. Don't see anything exciting yet. I do have a question here though from our Discord, and someone's a little, again, concerns about re-injuring yourself. You're gonna know my answer here pretty much, but between Darren Waller and Everett at tight end, what are you going to go with there? Are you going to risk it with Waller? Or are you going to start Everett?
Waller.
Yeah.
You drafted him to be your guy.
Yeah.
He's active.
Yeah.
You play him. You play your studs in redraft league,
Yeah.
as Matthew Berry has always proclaimed.
Yeah.
If they fail you, they fail you. If you feel so much dumber if you put in
Yes.
Everett
Yeah.
and he scores 5 points and then Waller goes off, than if Waller doesn't come through for you.
Yeah.
So
Now is not
it's
the
Waller.
time to get cold feet. It is Waller.
No.
Absolutely. Yeah. You need to go play. If your guys are playing inactive, go play them. If you get news that they're limited, maybe you have a little bit more of a second guessing yourself. But I still think even in that situation, even if we were to get Waller limited, I'm going Waller. Just based on the targets he got in preseason, what we're all expecting him to do. All right. I don't think there's anything too crazy dropping here, guys. We are gonna stick around for another 10 minutes here. Go ahead. You have some there, Mike?
I just saw Cordarrelle Patterson is officially inactive.
Okay.
Not that you were not playing Bijan, but that
Yeah.
just reinforces his potential workload. If you're like in a super, super deep league, Algier, he's a bench play, right? He's a bench stash right now. I still think he's going to get some work. I don't think Bijan's going to get the entire workload. That's unrealistic. And we saw Algier run for 1,000 yards as a rookie last year and did some nice things in the passing game. So I still think Algier is going to have a role, but not fantasy startable at the moment. But possibly once bye weeks come along and the injuries start racking up, he could be somebody that you could insert into your flex or RB2 if needed.
Yep, I definitely agree there. I think Algier is my second favorite stash. My favorite stash being Tyjae Spears, because I just don't believe that Derrick Henry is going to be healthy all season or just be absolutely great all season. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I do like Algier as a stack as well. I do have a question here for you from my own league. It's half PPR. It's a 30 teamer, so forgive my bad options here. I'm hearing stuff about Jaleel McLaughlin though. Is he for real? Is this a guy that I can? I mean, he's going to be the RB3 over there, but is he a guy that I can think about playing in a 30 teamer if I don't have a lot of options?
Who are you?
Well, I think who am I? My other options are I got Adam Thielen. I've got let's see here. I've got Devin Singletary, who I trust those guys probably a little bit more. I've got Romeo Dobbs, but he's injured. So where would you go there? I guess here's my question: Romeo Dobbs, Jaleel McLaughlin, Thielen, or who's my other guy? Singletary.
Let's see here.
Half PPR.
Half PPR. I think it's Thielen.
Okay. That's what I got in right now, so I feel pretty good.
I think.
Would you start any of those other three guys over Elijah Mitchell? Let me ask that.
I would start Dobbs over Mitchell for sure, even being limited. I know there was the reports that, we're gonna not give CMC a ton of work, and I think that's just coach speak. I'm not, he'll get some work, but I think Dobbs has a better opportunity.
It's done. I had Elijah Mitchell in there, so it's done. I'm going to put Dobbs in. Okay. Let's see. Stephen V. What's up, Steve? How you doing, man? A long time no see. 12-team Dynasty League. He needs to start one of these guys. If you could clarify half PPR, PPR, that might be helpful here. But OBJ, Breece Hall, Isaiah Hodgins, Taylor Gio, and Alan Lazard. One of those guys. Who are you picking there? It's PPR. He just clarified. So PPR.
Okay. Geez, that's a tough one.
That is a tough one. I think you go. Man, there's a couple different ways I could go with it.
This is gonna be gross, but I think it's Breece Hall.
That's Breece Hall. Okay, Breece Hall.
I still think he might get some passing work. It's Breece Hall for me.
Yeah, I think you can make a case for Hodgins. I think Lazard's got that touchdown upside. So I like it there. I think OBJ is also an interesting guy here as well. We just don't really know. I think Zay Flowers is really going to be the guy there in Baltimore.
And he's on the injury report with, I think it was a hamstring this week. So
he's been going back and forth between Hall and OBJ. I'm going to say Hall. I'm just going to go ahead and say if you're between those two guys, go ahead and lock in Breece Hall. That's our answer there. All right, full PPR. I need one for my flex. George Pickens, Zay Flowers, Nico Collins, and Brandon Cooks.
So I think we can narrow this down to Zay Flowers and Pickens. And I'm boosting up Flowers with the Andrews. So who was it? Cooks and Pickens.
Pickens, Cooks, Zay Flowers, Nico Collins. Yep.
I think it's Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about that matchup for Pittsburgh. I think they're relatively equal between Flowers and Pickens in a PPR format. So I'm just going to lean on the better matchup, which is Baltimore. So.
I had some Deontay Johnson in my DFS lineups too, but then I saw the weather's not going to be so great there, so I swapped him out. I'm not a guy that tries to overvalue the weather or anything like that, but I think I was uneasy about it to begin with, so that just kind of tilted me to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm not going to go there. But I do think when you talk about Pickens, people do forget about Deontay Johnson for some reason. Yes. He's still there, so I do think I would go Zay Flowers there for sure as well.
He's got to score more than 0 touchdowns this year. It's impossible.
Well, let me go ahead and see let me go ahead and see and refresh here. If you guys have any other questions here, go ahead and hit us. We're probably going to be logging out here in a few minutes, but we have one right here. Sorry about that. Mike Evans or Alexander Madison PPR. What do you think there?
I would lean Mike Evans, I think. I still think he's had plenty of good seasons without Tom Brady. I know we got the contract dispute going on right now, but I think he's a professional that would leave that behind. I'm changing my mind mid-thought here as I talk it out. Madison, he's going to get all the volume. He's the guy, I expect him to get some passing work too. It's Madison.
Okay, we're gonna go Madison there for you, Jackalope. Appreciate the response or question there. If you guys are sitting out there, you have a question for us. We got maybe a couple of minutes here as well. Then we're gonna go set our own lineups, work the blurred feed. If you guys don't have the NFL Fantasy Pass, we will be continuing to answer questions in that Discord. If you guys do have it, make sure you're in the Discord so we can answer those questions for you. If you guys haven't already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and like the video. I don't see any news here that's really breaking at this point. Any kind of like final thoughts, maybe some guys we haven't talked about or some guys that are going to be out that are at the top of your mind for this particular week 1 slate? Uh-oh, Mike is frozen. Mike is frozen and out. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, there he is. He's back. Okay. I don't know if you heard. Oh, here we go. This guy slipped in. So you're not going to answer my question because you didn't hear me, but that's okay. We got a question slipped in here. Half PPR, Najee or Rashad White? Who you leaning on there? Half PPR.
Let me think about this.
I know we're all low on Najee there. I don't buy that, it's going to be a 50-50 split or, 60-40 maybe, but I think, half PPR, I think I'm going to go Najee there, but what's your answer?
I still think it's Najee.
Yeah.
I do expect the Bucs to be trailing a bit in this game, obviously as 6-point dogs. So there may not be a huge rushing upside for White here today. So I'm leaning Najee.
We're going Najee there, Alex. So good luck to you guys. Good luck to everybody out there. Appreciate you all tuning in. We're going to be doing this every Sunday through week 4. And again, if you guys have the NFL Fantasy Pass, we'll be doing it in our Discord as well. So go ahead and make sure you're logged in there. If you have the NFL Fantasy Pass, if you don't, it's just $4 a month. Really, it's ridiculously cheap. You can get some answers quickly right away from experts just like Mike L here. So I'm Keith Cork. You can follow me on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it now, at Ethos Keith. You can go follow Mike there, MLaFemme10. And definitely, again, please subscribe to the channel. But hey, we will catch you guys next Sunday. And until then, good luck, everybody.